But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Robert Edward, Paolo de la Cruz, Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, Survive the Spin, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Tears Morgan, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, J Mel's 24, Lamento, Iron 26, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Troy Shuker, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon, as I say, are below this video. But with that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
When I was growing up in the 70s, there was TV repairmen. Let's see, the same people came in chat again from yesterday. One's name is Flat Out Failure. The other one is Learn from Each Other.
Are these anti-flirts or what?
Yeah. Same as this. The Euclid guys. Who's getting a haircut? Sounds like a lawn.
No, it's my electric pump spray. Doing a bit of herbiciding. I just bought this. It's much better than having a knapsack on pumping away constantly.
Check. Just finishing off. My wife insists that I explain to the audience that she was right and I was wrong.
Yeah, that goes without saying. They're always right.
I hate drilling into the walls because there's a potential for, you know, drilling into an electrical socket or whatever. I mean, we've got electrical testers and things like that. It's very stressful. Tried to plan it out as much as humanly possible. Right, one panel. The other two haven't arrived yet. It's just in order to have them in a. I want them in a position where when they arrive, I've just got to put the cleats on the back of them and hang them up. So that means relocating a speaker that's worth £1,000, which I don't really want to do, or didn't really want to do. I've done it now. But that's now done, and the panel goes in, and it is so tight that I have to put it up against the wall and slide it into position. I can't physically lift it onto the cleat. I have to slide it onto the cleat. But
I'm tracking with you.
But it looks good, and I'm just delighted. My wife was right. She had got all the right raw plugs. But she's always getting absolutely furious with her. Like, I wanted to do this 2 days ago.
So do you have the plastic, what do you call those things that you drill, put them in first, the plugs?
Raw plugs.
And then you screw into them so you don't, if you don't have a stud to hit?
Yeah, I've got raw plugs. It's going into drywall, so yes, it needs raw plugs, and yes, I've got them. Now it's finished, I'm quite content that it's correct. Looking at it now, figuring out if it looks okay. Looks good. If they're a couple of mil out, right, they're not fully plumb. The other ones that come in will straighten it out because the weight of them will push against it. Hopefully, seems to be hanging. I wanted them all to touch, right, and I want them all flush so that there's no gaps. Now with one of them, it's slightly narrower because it's a corner unit than the other panels when you put two next to each other. So I can't do anything about that. There's 2 mil gap. But I don't think it'll show up on camera. I want them all to line up nicely, you know what I mean? I want the pattern to look... They're all higgledy-piggledy, it won't. Anyway, that's that done. Oh wow, it's 20 past the hour. Well, that took a lot longer than expected. Look, don't give me that look. Like, yes, you knew damn well it would take longer. You've got to actually do it. At some point, you've got to actually do it, hun.
But you think everything will...
I do think everything will take 5 minutes, and that did just take 5 minutes. 5 minutes plus the extra hour. And most of that was you and me arguing.
Yes. I know what you get like when it comes to...
Well, it's just stressful now. I'm all sweaty, which you said don't do it because you'll get all sweaty before you go live. And here I am all sweaty and annoyed. I need to turn that mic off. That's probably caused a load of horrendous audio problems. There we go. Okay. Right, all of the ones that I've already got are now in situ. Let's get my camera out. I've not done that yet because I didn't want to knock it. Right, we're just going to have to be half an hour late with the live show. That's just the way it goes. Man, I'm in the middle but looking weird. Move my chair just for this show. I think I will do that. Can you take these raw plugs? There we go. Middle. There. As it's going to get, I think. A couple more minutes and we will go live. In the middle, it just looks really weird and out of balance because there's only one panel in where there should be 3. Still not in the middle. Worse. All right, I'm just going to have to give up. Right, let's get you all in the mood. You all excited for a live stream? Not done my compare bit before the stream starts. So there's huge protracted dead air on this recording, along with a blazing row, which is always nice. Hello? I can't go live unless I'm going to have somebody to talk to.
You could always edit that, though, can't you?
Oh, no. I can't be bothered with that.
Well, sometimes you need to be bothered with it. You don't need to give people ammunition. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't care. What, the people who want Earth not to be flat need to know that occasionally I'll have a row with my wife while putting shelves up?
That doesn't, yeah, that's a normal everyday thing. People do that all the time. But if a flat earther does it, he's abusing his wife and kids. Don't you understand that?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
How is everybody doing today?
What's with the mechanical robotic voice?
Well, yesterday you had an issue with how are you. You didn't know if I was talking to you or the team. So today I figured I'd give a formal robotic introduction to everybody. Like, how you doing?
I'm doing
To
okay.
everybody.
Very pleased to have everyone here. I'm a little bit sweaty. Been putting up acoustic paneling. So the panels that were previously spread out behind me have now been put in their final resting places, so to speak, in anticipation of the ones that I've just ordered actually turning up in hopefully a week or two, however long. Sometimes they take a couple of days, depends how quick GIK can put them together. But obviously I've got various things that I need to move. Let's just go on camera so I can show people what I'm talking about while I've got my walk and talk mic. So I've got above this position that I'm in now a speaker that's had to be relocated. I can get the camera to actually point up in that direction. There we go. So that's a rear speaker for my surround sound system that doesn't rarely get used. The kids use it. It is active. It does work. It's not useful to me in my show, so I don't care about it particularly, other than it needs to fit where a panel has now been put. And then you can probably see the cleats just above me. That's gone up. And then over there is the projector that I watch or monitor the show on. And that is also about 2 centimetres out of whack. So that needs to be relocated as well. So in the pre-show, it's just me and my wife arguing about screwing in raw plugs and drilling holes. So fun. If you remember, you can check that out. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. That's why we're late, in case anybody's wondering why we're half an hour late going live. That is why. So I've been putting up shelves, essentially putting up shelves. It's actually acoustic panels, but the same principle of levelling out a spirit level and drawing a line with a pencil, drilling 3 holes and putting a cleat, or French cleat as they're called, up so that these panels can hang. And this was previously horizontally behind me, and this one here was previously over in this corner, and this one was above my head. So now all of those have been condensed into one corner, and then this and this will be the same as what's behind me currently. So that'll be the arrangement of the panels that are going behind me, so I look nice and neat. Now, this is my first time seeing it, so I've literally put it up and then immediately gone live. Let's get my other mic out of shot. So this is how it looks to me for the first time. So I'm looking at the camera, in case you're wondering why I'm not looking down the barrel of my camera lens. I'm looking at what it's producing on screen so I can see how it looks. And it looks really good with the panels all lined up. When I finally get the other 2 here, it's going to look ace. I'm really pleased with how it's looking so far. Not that anybody probably cares about my acoustic treatment, but I do. And I want it to look presentable. And it certainly is that. It's looking pretty good. I'm quite pleased with it. Anybody seeing that on screen? Anybody watching the live stream who's in the panel? Probably.
Yeah, I'm catching a glimpse of it. I'm tracking with you. Looking good. You got some gaps.
No, there's gaps on my left. There's no gaps between the panels that I've already put up, though. They're perfect. Or are they good enough?
No, those are fine.
Yeah, there's gaps behind me on the left where there's a big empty cream space where there's, there should be 2 more panels, but that's what I've ordered. So I've ordered 2 more panels from GIK. I didn't know that they'd actually gone out of production. So there was an intent to buy one to go on the back of the door and one to go in the kitchen, because there's no door between me and the kitchen. So when you're looking from the front of the room to the back of the room, like this camera does, it might catch a glimpse of one of the panels in the kitchen that I was intending to buy, but they've discontinued them and changed the range. So when I was ordering them a couple of days ago, she's like, do you want the old style Impressions series or do you want the Amplitude series as they are now? I'm like, well, they're the same, aren't they? She's like, no, it's a subtly different pattern. I was like, well, I want it to match. That would be awful if it doesn't look exactly the same as the ones I've already got. She's like, oh, no worries. I'll just make sure we dig out the old CNC, whatever you call it, schematic, blueprint, diagram. I don't know what you call it on a CNC program, I guess. That's all I've ever known CNC operators call the rules of where the drill bit's going to move. And she was like, yeah, I'll make sure it gets drilled out or CNC'd according to the old pattern so that it matches. So that is what is going to go on my left-hand side of camera. Dawn Treader noted that the camera's flipped. I'm like, yeah, it is, because it's easier to set up that way. So in case anybody's wondering, the actual view that you get is mirrored. So it should be inverted. So if I hold up a book, it's back to front. And then when I edit the video yesterday, promoting Level Playing Poem, Flat Earth Fun Facts, I invert the entire video so that when I actually present the book on screen, it is the correct orientation. But when I'm setting up my camera, like just then, when I moved it around to show you the projector, because it's a mirror image, as in it's inverted, when I come to move it back into position, it's logical where it should be. So I can get it pretty much to the center point immediately and then look relatively presentable without having to figure out why it's flipped compared to what a mirror would do. So I've just kept it as a mirror, so it is easier for me to negotiate it like it was a mirror that you're actually physically holding if I move the camera around. So it's intentionally flipped, other than when you've got a logo or a brand on your t-shirt or you're holding up a book, it doesn't matter, nobody ever notices, because you're not going to know that I actually look that way round if you're in front of me. And even if you did meet me, it's not like I'm going to look totally different to a look on camera. I'm just going to look exactly the same, right? Anyway, so that's that. I'm really chuffed. It looks really good. Very good. I can't wait for my new panels to come. Very excited. Very excited. As I can tell you all are too. Once it's off my mind, that is to say, once I've finished putting cleats up and moving projectors and moving speakers and rearranging the panels that I've already got, once that's done, I can be more focused on what I typically do. So at the moment, as much as most blokes aren't that great at multitasking, I'm currently only doing the book and only worried about treating the space and making sure the panels are done and ordering stuff and arranging that with the person that's actually manufacturing them. That's my primary concern at the moment, because as much as the show is my main love, there's got to be a point where, as you're making improvements, it's like when the website goes down that you want to go and order something from and it just says website down. Well, for me, this moment in time is my version of the website being reconstructed, right? It's physical, as in the rooms being reconstructed, but there's no reason why I can't continue to have a live stream whilst doing that, right? What difference does it make? Most people who are familiar with what I do and how I do it are used to seeing a certain aspect of my day-to-day life through the lens of this camera. So the fact that there's stuff going on around me, why not put it to print? Why not just involve the audience with it anyway? I could have not gone live today. I've got a lot on, but I thought, I'll go live. Why not? And it's been rewarding, so rewarding with the amount of interaction I'm getting from a panel. It's just great. I'm delighted.
Well, I was about to say we're happy that you did go live, because there are people waiting. Like, what's going on? So in chat, I'm telling them, I believe they're putting panels up any minute now. So now the show's going on. The panels are not up, but they're ready to be installed, right? As soon as they come. So what are we going to talk about now?
No, there's one more. I've got to move the projector. That's not been moved yet. That's going to be the biggest job, which is why I wanted to get the speaker done today, because that's the easier of the two jobs. And then obviously having the panels that are underneath that speaker and in the corner already here, I can effectively get most of the job done. But the new panels will be interfering with the projector if I leave it as is. It's a centimetre out. Like, it's too low by 1 centimetre. Now, I put that projector screen, the projector shelf up long before I had any intentions of treating the room. So the fact that it's out by 1 centimetre is just sod's law. You know what I mean? Having to move it up by 1 centimetre. But I've learnt my lesson with the speaker. Moving it up by 1 centimetre isn't enough. I need to do more to give myself more margin, because as it's worked out with the speaker, I didn't give myself enough margin. Now, it looks great because it's really tight. The tolerances are really tight, but that means it's a proper ball ache to get the panel on and off the wall if I ever need to come and get it off again. I have to, like I say, take the other two off and then slide it off, which is, it's not that big a deal, but it's a bit of a pain in the arse. But it means that I don't have to move the other one. The other speaker still looks like it matches up with it on the other side of the room. That doesn't look like it's vastly different now, having moved this one up by 1.5 centimetres. I should have moved it up by 3, so I could get it on the cleat without having to slide it onto the cleat. Yeah, like I say, I don't mind sharing this stuff with the audience. Yes, it's normally flirting, but today it's panels. That's part of running a YouTube channel, right?
All right. What about the book? Because people are asking, is it going to be $39.59? I said Nathan doesn't know exactly what it's going to be yet. The price.
Yeah, there's a couple of options. I can either have books produced, and if it's a hardback book, then yeah, it probably would be $39.59 because I'll be the one shipping it and buying them and keeping them in stock. The other alternative is to just do it via Amazon. Initially, as I've said already, the book will just be available as a digital download through the publisher. So that is the quickest and dirtiest way of getting out the material and being able to monetize it as quickly as possible. Now, obviously, I appreciate there's people who want a hard copy or a, even a paperback, just a physical copy of the book, and that will happen in time. But obviously, the main purpose of producing the book is to generate another revenue stream and indeed inject new life. This is an after fact into the show, because it means I can go out on a little promotional tour of the book. But initially, it'll just be a digital download version. That'll be what comes out at Easter. All being well, that's a week away? I can't see any reason why that wouldn't be the case. That is to say, I don't see why that can't still be the deadline as we work through it and just check that the chapters are in the right order and make minor edits. So that's what we're doing currently. We didn't do any yesterday. It was just a very busy day. My youngest daughter moved up from rainbows to brownies, so we went and watched her jump over the rainbow, which is always very touching. Brought a tear to my eye. But it's one of those things that you can't kind of watch twice. Once they've done it, they're in the next group, and that's kind of it. They've moved on from that stage of their life. So I definitely wanted to watch that. So we didn't do any bookwork yesterday, but we'll certainly do some today. That's if my wife can get over me shouting at her for not having the right raw plugs. So I thought she was right, I was wrong, obviously. Yeah, it's going all right.
It caused a chain reaction, Nathan, because now I got into an argument with my wife, but she holds a grudge, so now it's the cold shoulder. And then I made a mistake. Here's the mistake I made. I said, you see, Nathan can have an argument, but they forget about it and move on. Now I compared her to your wife, and now I'm on the shit list.
That was a bad move.
I realized it as I was doing it, but it just kept coming out.
Very amusing, Neil. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Things are looking good, behind me at least, on screen. Is there any flirting we need to do? It's the end of the week, so obviously we'll come back in 3 days' time and everyone will be more genned up for doing flat earthing stuff. But at the moment, my mind is just on panels, I've got to be honest.
Well, it's the same anti-flat earthers or ballers coming in chat every day, trying to educate us on how Earth is measured, using Euclidean and axioms, and that, Euclidean axiom does not mean that the Earth is flat. Can't go by axioms alone. And what I was going to ask you is, if you're lost at sea, Nathan, and you're in a raft, and you happen to have a sextant, you're going to be using the sextant, right, to find your location?
Yeah, that's what it's for.
You're not going to use the flat Earth, right?
Yeah, you will. You'll use the flat Earth where it forms a position in the distance we call the horizon.
But you're going to use the sextant. You're not just saying, well, I'm using flat Earth. You're going to use the sextant. That's what we need to acquire our location, right? You have to know where you are first, right?
Yeah, well, if you're going to find your way home, you need to know where you are so you can point your boat in the right direction. But you will absolutely, without question, require flat Earth to measure the surface level for an angle that runs along the surface to a GP at the surface so you can navigate the surface. What we're getting from our opponents is just because I measure Earth flat with an elevation angle for a ground position doesn't mean the Earth is flat. Okay? Let's ruffle your little head and send you on your way, you little twat. Yes, you do. You measure Earth's surface level for an angle. It's formed with the horizon. That's the ground and where it appears to meet the sky. Now, they don't actually meet. That's why you use the word apparent when describing the location of the horizon. It doesn't mean it's not the ground, though. It is. And the ground being level as a principle, that's an axiom, to acquire said right-angled triangle, that's an angle to a star or the sun or any celestial item you're using for navigation, and the other line that runs along the ground to a 90-degree point below that light in the sky. That's what it is to navigate the ground with these angles. Ipso facto, meaning you must accept Earth is flat to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to explicitly say, I'm measuring Earth flat right now. You just measure an angle with respect to surface level. That's what it is. Now, I'm not doing this. I'm not the arbiter of it either. Being able to concisely summarise celestial navigation and the use of a sextant doesn't mean that I'm responsible for those things. Doesn't mean that getting rid of me will suddenly mean we don't measure Earth flat when we use a sextant. We do. We, being the generalisation of anybody who's out there measuring the surface level for an angle, for a GP, that's ground position. You can say, that doesn't mean it's the ground, but that would make you a wanker. And if you were in their life and death situation with others, you'd have your throat slit and you'd be thrown off the side of the boat for putting other people's lives in danger because you want to debate about whether or not a surface level based angle measurement isn't the ground. We're going to be navigating the ground and we want to find our way home. You are a detriment to that if you say, well, we're not. Why are you arguing about this? It's just an angle.
Hold on. What I'm getting at is this: are they gonna? There's people saying, well, if a flat earth is left, see, if they don't use the globe, if they use the flat map, or the globe, they're gonna have to use the globe.
Nobody's got a freaking globe. Okay. Again, you're in the lifeboat, and someone lays out the map, and someone goes, "Whoa, no, I believe the surface level that we've got the angle measured from comports with this globe that I've got in my rucksack." Number one, they wouldn't have a globe in their rucksack, but there's a good chance they'd have a map, and it's flat. It needs to be to draw lines of position or circles of equal elevation on it. The clue is in the title, though: equal elevation, surface level, angles, straight lines, parallel, perpendicularity, 90 degrees, ground position. These are all not just suggestions of Earth being flat. They are absolutely requiring Earth be flat. And if it's not, you're not getting the measurement. If it's not, you're not getting a ground position. If it's not, you're not drawing out a circle of equal elevation or a line of position. If it's not, then you're not finding where you are and you'll die. That's what it is to navigate with these tools that require an axiomatic flat Earth to be measured. That's what you're measuring. Now, you not liking it and saying, no, we're going to have to use the globe. Why? The globe's a glorified protractor with lines of position that are extended out into circles of equal elevation derived from angle measurements from surface level to Polaris. It's called latitude. It's wrapped around the globe. But those are derived from, or derivations of, the surface level measurement of Polaris for a system that turns the surface level into a curved protractor. But for that to function with celestial navigation, you still have to transpose what you believe is a tangent plane measurement inside that globe, so that it works as said glorified protractor with an equatorial plane being the base that you'll put the measurement to work in the globe. Now, this idiotic notion is totally unnecessary. If you're in a boat with a flat map, you draw out a line of position and a circle of equal elevation based on a flat Earth angle measurement. That's what you do. You don't have to convert it with haversine and satisfy some dweeb with his ball in his bloody rucksack. No, you don't have to do those things. But dweebs, they'd have their throats slit and thrown over the side of the boat, as far as I'm concerned, if they start arguing about how flat the measurement of an angle to a ground position, 90 degrees to the star that's part of the angle that forms a triangle, that absolutely ipso facto is a flat Earth measurement. It's not up for debate, but you debating it just makes me think that you're going to get the rest of everybody in this lifeboat killed. So it's probably best that you just disappear immediately when no one's looking. That's my attitude towards you. You'd have your throat slit. That's what would happen. Hypothetically, of course. I'm not up for slitting anybody's throats, but that's what would happen to these people socially. Like, everyone around them who is in fear of their own lives dying suddenly want to look out for number one and make sure that you, with your stupid dweeby, I think we should convert this, flat Earth measurement? But I have a sign. No, we won't be doing that unnecessary step because you think that the ground that we've just measured flat bends. No, we just measured it flat, and now we're going to put it on this flat map with a flat circle of equal elevation to get a line of position so we can find our intersect points and our fix and then find our way home. You and your bloody ball belief, you'll just get your throat slit. Simple.
Go ahead. Whoever was trying to get a question in, now's the time when Nathan stopped talking.
Like I say, Neil, I'm not the arbiter of such things, right? I don't care if somebody disagrees with this. It's like, I don't care. I'm not a navigator. It's inconsequential to me. I don't even own a sextant. My sister used to go out on her boats. She had to study celestial navigation and flat Earth prerequisite measurements of angles with respect to surface level and ground positions, lines of position, areas of equal altitude. That's same altitude, same elevation, not curving, straight lines, angles, ground positions. What, not the ground? These people are dicks. But they want to express their dickhead nature onto us like we have some consequence in it. And they don't elevate us to the lofty position of being the arbiters of celestial navigation just because we can detail how flat Earth is measured when measuring angles with respect to the surface level. That's just you measuring if you were that navigator, but you aren't, and neither am I. So just get over it. Go over your stupid selves. You aren't the arbiters of these things. Bracing against me won't change anything.
Nathan, can I ask you something? The circles of equal altitude or elevation. I get the whole idea, but what I don't get is that the angle of the stars doesn't change with raise in altitude. So it kind of confuses me why, how, like, also with the calculation of the eye level to sea level, the deep angle, like all of this, like I don't get with the angle of the stars doesn't change with the rising altitude. So what's the point?
Who cares?
What you're saying is, what's the point? Is that your question?
Yeah, like I just need some detailing to remove the confusion because I have a little confusion with this.
Have you got a boat?
No, Nathan, it's not even we got a boat. What's the difference? You measured Earth flat already. Who cares? We got into these arguments way back. Who cares?
No, but
it doesn't affect it.
The question is, do you have a boat? Right? I like boats. I liked going out on the boat with my brother-in-law, now deceased. Right? It was fun. I really enjoyed doing it. Now, if you can offer that, which my brother-in-law formerly offered when he was talking about celestial navigation when alive, or my sister doing the same, then there's a reason to have the conversation, right? Oh yeah, we need to know about how this works when we measure an angle with respect to the surface level and draw out an area of equal elevation. That means a circle of equal altitude. Same altitude at all parts of the circle, right? That's what we'll do if we're out on this boat. But are we out for the navigation process? Are we out so we can talk about sailing? No, we're out to sunbathe, to have fun on the boat. So my question is valid. Do you have a boat? Is that why we're having this conversation?
Just for my knowledge,
So just for the dweeby knowing about how celestial navigation works because you're not going to do it. Correct?
Yeah, just for myself, like that.
Okay. What's in it for me telling you? Just explain that.
I mean, nothing. It's in for you. I just thought that you have some kind of answer. I just tried.
But I'm not the arbiter of celestial navigation. This diagram on screen that details Earth as a glorified protractor when using the celestial sphere wrapped around a glorified protractor with a degree measurement emanating from the centre of the sphere that I detailed earlier quite concisely, that you'd have to transpose any suggested plane that's tangential to a ball inside the ball for it to function with the latitude system. Now, I can explain that, but it doesn't mean it's mine, or that I have any responsibility to explain anything to anybody. Now, I will if there's something in it for me. Like if I might get to go out on a boat. Yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds like a justifiable reason to want to discuss this with you. If you're planning on getting a boat and you're planning on inviting me, then I can see why we'd have this conversation. But beyond that, it's just my work. I mean, you just want to talk about work stuff so that you can learn about it for what? Why? Who cares?
A King likes to debate with ballers about these things.
Okay.
I'm doing it sometimes.
But what's to debate? Circle of equal altitude. You understand that terminology, right?
It's not really a debate. I'm just trying to share the truth, and they attacking me back with their own explanations.
Hold on. You're sharing truth about flat Earth. Is that correct? That's what you claim? So why are you talking about celestial navigation any further than it measures Earth's flat? Once you got that, who cares about the rest? Unless, like Nathan says, you got a boat and you're going to need it at some point if you go down and you want to save your ass from drowning. You get into the freaking life raft and now you want to find out where the hell you are.
Yeah, but something you did say just intrigued me. Right, eight King, right? You said you're trying to share this truth with them and they attack you. So what I hear is you're dealing with wankers who you shouldn't be associated with because they sound like wankers. Now, don't get me wrong, if you derive pleasure from expelling your energy and company in throwing pearls to swine, then obviously that's your bag. But my question to you is, why do you want the information so that you can educate people who obviously hate you? Why would you want to do that? That makes no sense to me.
I mean, maybe 90% of them will hate me. Maybe it will be one who will be like realize and research more, and that's it.
Okay, so you find that 1 in 10, and what's in it for you with that 1 out of the 10 that you have to go through that all hate you and would rather see you jump off a building to prove their delusions about downward forces when they don't know how fart works. They'd rather see you have your balls cut off or your kids taken away, accuse you of being a criminal. Things of that nature. You're happy to stomach 9 of 10 being complete scum that you wouldn't associate with under any circumstances, generally speaking. But you will tolerate them because one person might willingly accept your truth. Okay, so that 1 in 10 has willingly accepted your truth. You've ignored the fact that you've had to go through hell to achieve it with 9 other people. Now answer this. What's in it for you doing that?
I mean, I don't know. It feels good, but at some point it gets stressful. And then I take a break.
No, I don't mean what's in it for you in the negative, like stress and consequences where people try and report you to the police and involve real men that they aren't to do their dirty work for them. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Not in the negative. Not what's in it for you that might be detrimental. In the positive, not the stress. What's in it for you in a positive way for you to do that? For you to desire, after going through that process of having 9 shitheads hate you, the one that might potentially not hate you, at what point do you go, okay, the reward is a caravan holiday for 2 in Bognor Regis? What do you get out of it?
And I felt good when I found out the truth, and it felt like relieving, and like you're at peace with your life and you fear nothing, basically. So I just want to do the same to others.
That's not true. If you feared nothing as a result of this information, you wouldn't be asking me to fill in the blanks for celestial navigation because you wouldn't be concerned about it. But you're concerned that you can't convey this information to next man efficiently enough for them to, 1 in 10 times, fall in line with your rhetoric. If you had no fear, you'd be like, I don't care if they understand it or not. I understand what a circle of equal elevation is, an area of equal altitude. I know what altitude is. I know what the word equal means, and that's it. That's how it works. But you're not doing it, and neither are they. But the warm and fuzzy feeling that you got when you found your way to this truth, in my experience, I'm going to go out on a limb here, isn't actually the truth that gives you the warm and fuzzy feeling. The conspiratorial nature that it's something contrary to what everyone else believes is what gives you the warm and fuzzy feeling. The actual dealings of Earth, that's measuring it flat with elevation angles in this instance, are utterly inconsequential to you as an individual. You're not going to measure any of these angles, ever. So who gives a crap? It's just boring, fart-sniffing, dweeb-worthy information that when a mapping channel goes through it, they have to make disclaimers about how boring it is. Literally, to their audience of tens of thousands, if not millions, of people. Yeah, they will disclaim how this, it might be a bit boring. Like, what, this thing that other people with the same information think is an absolute revelation and give them some warm and fuzzy feeling. No, the conspiratorial nature of you realising it's not the way you were told is what gives you the warm and fuzzy feeling, not measuring Earth flat. The mapping channels don't get that warm and fuzzy feeling for it. They might make money from it as a career, but they're not saying, wow, this revolutionary information is going to make next man, 1 in 10 at least, feel fantastic about themselves. They're like, if you're falling asleep, don't worry. This might seem boring, but I'll make it interesting for you. That's their attitude when they measure it flat.
Hey, King. Hey, King, do you know for sure and without a doubt that Earth is flat?
Yes. Especially,
Okay, so what do you care?
I saw another video from Brian's Logic with some kind of right angle triangle. Like when you're measuring an elevation angle, it creates like an opposite side with the right angle triangle, and it makes so much sense. Like I already know. I just want to be like a book in my mind. I want to be like a book full of knowledge that, like I don't want someone asking me something and I don't know how to answer. Just for myself like that.
See, I understand where you're coming from. I used to be that guy. Once I see that and know for sure without a doubt that it's flat, it's measured that way, I don't give a crap anymore. They want to fight and argue all day long, call me up, freaking constantly send messages. You just ignore them. Eventually they'll go away. But the more you pay attention and the more you debate with them and try to share the truth with them, they're just going to rend you. They're going to turn on you. So who cares? You know it's flat. I know it's flat. How? Because it's measured that way. They all know it's flat. So what's the problem?
And it's just pure curiosity. Like, for example, I was researching something about seismic waves and how they travel, and it's interesting to see how they're all related to flat Earth, like a lot of stuff. Just curiosity.
No, I totally get it. You're representing what we have stood for 10 years. So it might come as a bit of a shock when we're like, who cares? And don't get me wrong, I've lost subscribers over it. No, this is the most important thing in the whole wide world. Like, okay, but getting people to realise how it's measured anyway. It was being measured that way anyway. And you weren't a part of that process. You didn't develop it. You're not using it. So I can't draw any other conclusion at this particular point in my flat Earth career that I am utterly inconsequential to how Earth gets dealt with. How it gets dealt with is flat, but having a sharper knowledge, could I know more about celestial navigation? I'll put my sandwich down, right? Could I know more about celestial navigation and how it functions? Yes, I could. Could I be more concise in my delivery? Well, I've tried to be in the book that's about to come out. I've tried to be as concise as is required for the audience member who's reading the book to go, so it's just measured flat anyway. Yeah, it is, yeah. But also make them come back down to Earth in a mental sense that you knowing this now doesn't change anything. It doesn't mean that suddenly lives will be at risk or jobs will be lost because you've suddenly realised and appreciated how flat Earth gets measured. It was being measured that way anyway. The fact that we are taught a religious study, which is what heliocentrism has become, rather than an out-of-box way of figuring out how epicycles should function. That's what realistically heliocentrism is offering when it puts the sun at the centre. But it is the mathematics. It's not the ground. The ground's just measured flat to create that system that gives the church the opportunity to think outside the box to explain the movements of the lights that they've tracked with flat Earth measurements. But nothing's going to change. Nothing physically can change. Heliocentrism is a control structure and a religious belief that's imparted on people at a very early age in Western, now worldwide education structures, doesn't alter how the world actually functions or how that system, indeed itself, came into fruition through the use of flat Earth prerequisites and elevation angle measurements to the stars. That's what it is. Now, at this point, you go, converting somebody who's staunch in their faith is a waste of your time and will only serve you misery, because 9 out of the 10 people that you dealt with in your belief that you need to overcome their objections for the 10th man that will eventually realise that your position's correct. It was anyway. You didn't need to convince them, and them being convinced won't change how correct you were or how flat Earth got measured. So again, you're back to it's knowing this in a more concise way can assist me. No. Unless I want to proactively go out and debate people and sniff my own farts when I can concisely demonstrate how flat Earth gets measured in celestial navigation. Earth gets measured flat in celestial navigation anyway, even if I did a poor job of explaining it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing changes if people will slowly realize one by one. But if it would be possible for every person in the world to realize how flat it is at the same time, or in a very short period, everything will change. Like, we don't know how limited is this world and the resources and what they're hiding with the globe, because it's like a prison, it's going around in circles, but with a flat extended world,
Stop.
possibility for
have you got a boat?
unlimited resources.
Hold on, I already covered this though. You pie in the sky thinking is annoying. No offence to you, Eight King, right? I already established. Have you got a boat? No. So there is zero chance that you're going to go out and find new land then. Zero. None. You aren't going to do that, are you? You're just lying when you say those things, aren't you? Delusions of grandeur that you're going to suddenly find new land in your boat that you haven't got.
No, it's not about me and a boat. It's about that the political system will all fail. Like, most certainly it will be something like anarchy, but not like with violence against each other. It's something like a reinvention of how our world and society will work. And we will work together as one.
Why do you think that the society will crack to the point where we have anarchy, a lack of rulers in government positions, because we find out simultaneously that Earth's being measured flat anyway? Why would that suddenly mean that they don't just kick the can down the road? Oh, right, it's flat now. They'll just come out and they'll just take it on their chin to try and get more votes. If suddenly the consensus is leaning that way, then they'll lean that way to get more votes. Well, they didn't come up with it. It's not like they came up with the 500-year-old Roman Catholic heliocentric that's centre mathematics. So they're not going to concern themselves with taking any ownership of this. But you think it'll cause anarchy? Nah.
The people in power, the people that are in power right now, obviously they know the Earth is flat. And if we will find that they hide and lie to us all these years, we will not be able to trust them anymore. And we will make our own system.
Oh, so you trust them?
There it is.
So you trust them wholeheartedly then?
No, but there's a lot of people who trust them. And also the atheists. There's a lot of atheists who don't believe in God anymore. They just live an ignorant life once they know God is true with the flat Earth, because obviously there's a creator, not an accident with Big Bang theory and evolution. They will for sure change time, generation by generation. They will change in the way they are.
Do you fear God?
No.
Not a God-fearing man, as they say.
I mean, I don't have reason to fear him.
if he's responsible
No,
for your
fear God needs
existence,
reverence.
then you've got a lot of reason to fear him. I assure you of that. Okay. For the people that don't, without sounding too crude, and I will have to use a swear word, fuck them. These people hate you.
That is a Mike 808 guy. He's very bothered by this. These answers you're giving him. What's going on? Why not just answer him? Okay. The whole point of FED. Are we just not going to want knowledge anymore? Then he goes on to say, "This is ridiculous. If this is really the sentiment, why not a book, Nathan?" Mike 808.
So what's the problem?
He's perturbed and a little bothered why you just won't answer the questions that Aiken is bringing to you. He said the whole point of FED, we're not going to want knowledge.
We've got that knowledge. What's he talking about?
You know, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. If this is really the sentiment, why put out a book? I guess he means the blasé, nonchalant, like attitude we have now, like not even want to bother debating because there's no debate. By understanding that it is measured flat,
That's a fact.
it's no big deal. So why do I sit here and continue to
facts.
debate?
Sorry, this sounds like somebody who can't reconcile this fact. Earth is measured flat. I have no influence on those measurements. I didn't create them. I didn't invent miles or kilometres. Me arguing with next man about it won't change how flat Earth is being measured. In demonstrating how nonchalant I am about this communication with a group that has just been described by another man as having a 9 out of 10 chance of you being persecuted, ridiculed, mocked, reported to the police, suggested that you should jump off buildings. These people are scum, and I'm saying, why are you trying to influence complete scum? What's in it for you? Now, if the answer is to change the world and government, okay, take me through those steps. I don't believe you. That's what I've said so far, because I don't. I don't think this will change government. Absolutely. I don't think this will change anything. It's being measured flat anyway. Now, some of the people in the audience say, no, I need to increase my fart-sniffing knowledge about celestial navigation, and you understand how a parallel eye level will run parallel with the surface level for a dip angle measurement correction. Well, what, from an altitude measured from a flat Earth? So if you're arguing with somebody, you can point out that the correction starts with measuring Earth flat. Okay, there you go, I've answered him. Did that change anything? Government's falling. No, nothing's going to change. You, my audience member, aren't going to change the world. Number one, it doesn't need changing. It's being measured flat anyway. Number two, the fact that you've stepped away from a religious indoctrination that's based on flat Earth measurements is a knowledge that I can continually, till the day I die, put across on every single flat Earth debate show that I produce. When you say, why would you put out a book? To feed the kids! That's why. About the knowledge that I have acquired, and you can acquire the same knowledge, it's easy and not hidden. It's kept separate from the religious indoctrination that we've exposed for 10 years. But separate to is also reliant upon. The ball Earth relies on the flat Earth measurements. I am not in charge of them. Knowing about them and being able to concisely detail that to next man will be met with my questioning of the motivation of you, the one asking me, in this case, Aiking. Why do you want to know? Well, the reality is to give him a warm, fuzzy feeling. That's selfish. Now, he may not like me pointing it out, but his warm, fuzzy feeling ain't changing the world. Now, he might think that more land, less oppression. Okay, you haven't got a boat and you're not in politics. If you were, you'd know that none of them are going to accept responsibility for this. The standard fare rhetoric for a politician is to kick the can down the road. You think there's suddenly going to be a cease to politics controlling the worldview of the many. No, definitely not. That's not going to happen. Now, I'm just being realistic with you. Now, not only are you not going to change a political structure that is absolutely cemented societally with the knowledge of a flat earth, you don't need to convey that information for any measurement that's ever made of Earth's surface to alter. It won't alter because it's flat anyway. Now, if you think I'm not putting out enough information for your liking by saying, I don't care if you know or not, because you are inconsequential, that's your problem when you can't get over how inconsequential you are to this subject. I have accepted it. I've accepted I'm not going to alter the world by tracking the sun on a flat earth. Now, there's going to be delusional people out there like Simon Dan who think that measuring Earth flat with 1,000 elevation angles is going to change the world. Rid them of the flurfs. Or if you're a flurf, rid them of the government oppression. You're delusional. Now, at this particular point in my flat Earth career, I want to say goodbye to a bunch of conspiratards who are delusional, that think they're going to change the frickin' world when I'm saying the only way what you want will come into fruition, that's to say everybody realises how flat it is, if everybody can say, and I've said this previously, I knew anyway. That's how these controversial things go through. That's their natural progression. Ludicrous. It's worthy of ridicule. Not worthy of ridicule, worthy of violent opposition. I'm calling the police on you, Nathan. To, I always knew it was flat. It's just measured that way. That's the natural progression. Not, it's ridiculed as stupid, violently opposed, and then there's a war between dweebs and conspiratards resulting in the fall of government. You're delusional. If that's how you think it's going to go. Now, if you actually want to usher in everybody appreciating how flat Earth is, then you need to understand how communicating to next man that he already knew sea level existed. He already knew that relief for the rain to fall away requires perpendicularity measured for altitude for relief. If you understand some of these principles, we had seismology brought up a minute ago. What? Measuring the movement in the vertical with respect to the horizontal on a graph? That's a flat Earth measurement. Now, are you a frickin' seismologist? Have you come up with the seismological studies? No. Will me explaining how flat a measurement is when you're doing seismology alter anything with government? No. Will you be able to convince 1 out of 10 people who fucking hate you that the Earth is actually flat and that's how it's measured anyway? Change the government that was controlling you. Change the education system. No, it will not. Now, I am going to beat mentally the crap out of these idiots who constantly think that they're going to change the frickin' world. Now, at the moment, we're mainly focused on the delusional dweebs on the ball side who think they're Batman. They think they're fighting against injustice when they fight against somebody who's got no consequence when it comes to a seismological study, or a navigation study, or a survey in general, or the use of a map. I'm not doing any of those things. But you want me to be the arbiter of these things. You want me to be your guru. Tough luck. That doesn't mean I don't have this knowledge and I can't spit these facts at my camera. I will. I do understand how flat Earth is measured. I'm an absolute expert in it. A former ninja who was beating the living shit out of the former 9 who thought that they could lord it over us while they told us we were stupid. Now I don't care about them because they hate me. Why would I concern myself with them? Fuck them. They can all burn in hell. No, I don't want to bring them to God. They're all scum. They deserve eternal damnation, as far as I'm concerned. Convert them? No, I'd rather watch them burn, frankly. Why? These are the people that would have me jump off a building to prove their notions of a downward vector. Smell that fart rising and disbanding into the area of volume? Yeah, that debunks gravity. Yeah? Do I need to convey this to people who hate me? People who call the police on me? People who say my kids should be taken away? Or, in the case of this pre-show, that if I have a row with my wife about putting a shelf up, that suddenly I'm abusing her? No. I don't care about those people anymore. Yeah? Now, simultaneously, that means there's a parallel with people who, on the flat Earth side, do the exact same thing. Well, I don't care about you either. Now, you might not like that, but tough luck. Doesn't mean I'm not going to convey this information. Part of my rant has included very critical information that I've been asked about. I've withheld it to make a different point. You aren't consequential to this endeavour. Get over yourselves, you special little snowflakes. If you want to be special, go out, buy a boat and find that new land. I'll buy some of it, okay? With the money I haven't got. But that's my point. None of these fat sniffers are actually doing anything of any consequence. The ones that do something, like tracking the sun on a flat earth for me, or measuring 1,000 elevation angles for Dan, are just as fart sniffing and delusional. I haven't changed the world. I haven't reduced the political control structure by any degree whatsoever. Dan hasn't altered the surveying systems or the navigation processes or the elevation angles, derivations into heliocentrism. He's not done any of those things, even though he actually did do something. What did he actually do? Just measure Earth flat 1,000 times, with no consequence at the end of it. None. These systems are already in place. Earth was always measured flat, and will continue to be so, regardless of your involvement or not. Now I'm done, whoever kept interrupting that rant.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Nothing will change how Earth is measured. That we will always deal with Earth like the same way we always did. But they hide the truth that Earth is flat for what? For control. So obviously, when it's no longer going to be a secret, it will be no more control for them over us. So we'll see what happens after that. I don't know what. Maybe something will change.
What do you want to change?
More freedom and more freedom of like everyone will have everything to eat and land and plant their own stuff and change like before, like no more money. Maybe we will trade our stuff.
Doesn't sound like you need
trading system.
Doesn't sound like you need political alteration. It sounds like you need a frickin' allotment so you can grow some vegetables. That's what you need. Go and buy a bit of land and grow some vegetables on it. That will satisfy your desire from what you've just listed.
Yeah, but I want everyone to be able to afford that. I don't want to have a slavery.
Why? So you want the guy who hates
starving.
you? So the guy who's telling you to jump off a building, you want him to own land and trade with him. You want to trade with him your vegetables that you're going to grow on the land that you're going to buy. If you want to trade and you want freedom, number one, what makes you think you're oppressed? Come on, what is it that's oppressing you? I want details. You've just said less oppression, more freedom, right? Okay. What freedoms aren't you afforded? What is it that you want?
The taxes, the starvation, the lies, the killings, the everything. The wars, of course, the wars.
Just don't pay them. Don't pay the taxes. Go off grid. Go and find yourself a piece of land, grow your vegetables, trade with the locals, don't pay taxes. Go off grid. You can do that. Plenty of people go off grid and don't pay tax. No one's stopping you from going off grid. You could become a traveller and not pay taxes.
Yeah, but I want all of us to be able to do that, not just me, you know.
Back to the 9 out of 10 people. They hate you. They don't want that freedom. If you see that as being servitude, they don't want that.
These people are not sincere. They are paid.
Let's not worry about them. Let's worry about you. What you want. You want to be able to trade and grow and own land. Okay, so you need a little garden to grow vegetables in that you can trade. That will satisfy what you've just suggested. But you're then expounding that out into other people's concerns and saying that they need this freedom that they don't want. Not only do they not want it, they hate you for wanting it. But it doesn't mean you can't have it. You can. So you go off grid, you don't pay taxes. Done.
These people who are fighting us and hate us, they are not normal people. They are part of this. They are Freemasons or whatever. I don't know what they are. Or sometimes even AI bots. They're just there to hide this.
But they haven't hidden it. You know, don't you? So it's not hidden from you. You know. You were released from the shackles. Go in peace. Oh, what's that? You want to release the other prisoners, but they don't want you to. They're screaming for the jailer to come and get you, though, aren't they? while you're trying to take off their shackles, they're screaming at the jailer to lock you back in them, aren't they?
I mean, that's why they're there to keep this secret going.
Yes.
When you say go off grid, what are you talking about? A 2D Cartesian grid, by any chance? But see, Nathan, this is what happens when you hang out with these other chat platforms. You have dreamers saying the world is going to change. You just got to get flat Earth out there. And when everybody comes to realization, we'll have control of the land.
But that means that they're in control instead of the political leaders who have acquired control through what is socially acceptable, regardless of how corrupt you perceive it to be. They've reached or attained said position through socially acceptable means in a society that is relatively stable. Now, that's not to say there's not corruption. That's not to say that there are unfair taxes. I'm saying that in the stability that we do experience, the dreamers want to substitute themselves in for the people who are in control. Well, if I was in control, everyone would have a fair amount of land. Why, are you a communist? These aren't rhetorical questions. These are serious questions. Like, I'm getting met with, like, complete empty air. The things that people want, they then don't really want. They just want that to be the sentiment expressed onto other people around them. And it's like, no, step back and look at the people that you're trying to impart this upon. They don't want it. They literally don't want this. They want consensus reality. That's what they want. And I'm saying, give it them. You want your ball? Have your ball. Yeah? I won't mention that you need flat Earth measurements in order to create that ball. If you don't want me to, right? Just don't have the conversation with me. Oh, you're still here having the conversation about how it isn't flat Earth measurements that make a ball. Okay, well, what is an elevation angle then? Oh, it's a flat Earth measurement. Why are we having this conversation? You'd rather call the police on me than have this conversation, but you're here having it. Now me, I'm just like, go on your way. Yeah. Have your ball. Get lost.
Not good enough, Nathan. Not good enough. They want you out. Okay, I overheard it yesterday. Somebody sent me a little clip of somebody, once again, saying wants everything in your life to crumble until you, Nathan Oakley, are off the internet.
Okay.
Off grid.
And then what? And then what? Will that stop elevation angles as shown on screen now being elevation angles? Will it stop that 90-degree box along the surface being 90 degrees to your position? That's a flat Earth prerequisite. Nothing I do communicating this information changes anything other than there's a divide between people who use flat Earth measurements to claim that they're on a ball and people who use flat Earth measurements to navigate, to build things, to survey, to fly, to sail, to map, to chart. Those people have been kept very separate from these people so that these people can use the flat Earth measurements without mentioning them. Now, because I've brought it to the forefront that you need flat Earth measurements, they're just not mine. I can call them mine, but that doesn't mean that getting rid of me makes them go away. This on screen will always be what it is. Zenith, elevation, the 90 degree, the surface level, the flatness of the line, those are all how Earth gets measured. I didn't come up with this. It's not my diagram. Getting rid of me won't change it. You saying I would sooner see you in pain and poverty or off the internet is a testament to you and how scummy you are. These are the people, the 9 out of 10. I'm like, I don't care about them anymore. Those people want their ball. They can have it. I mean, they're not going to change how flat Earth gets measured by keeping hold of their ball faith. And the people who understand implicitly how flat Earth gets measured.
Mike 808 is upset. What he's saying is he's gained valuable knowledge being here. You're not realizing there's viewers like me who don't go out debating. Who don't go out debating. Go to other channels or Discord to debate. But I've gained invaluable knowledge being here. You're only representing one side. And the other guy, Darren, says, No, Nathan, most of us do not come across the vile people you have had to deal with. Mostly, they have open ears and minds. Also, discerning idiots is well within the scope of most people here. So there you have it.
Okay, I mean, for those people, I will welcome them with open arms, and if they're asking questions in a polite way, I'm going to eventually, even if I'm using like Eight King now, him as an example, for the apathy that I feel everybody should be appreciating. The inconsequential nature of how much influence you have on those measurements will not change. Now, you may want that to be different, but it's not going to be. Now, I'm going to push that fact. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to disseminate the information that I understand and have acquired over the last 10 or 12 years. Now, I'm still going to put that out there with my disdain for humanity. Now, you're saying, oh, well, we don't experience people who literally want to have me removed from the internet, meaning them, not me. We find that the people who are intrigued by this information, the 99 times out of 100 that you're broaching it, well, why are you broaching it? I mean, is there something that you're going to be doing? Are you about to make a new map? Are you about to come up with a new calendar? Are you about to go out on your boat? Are you about to fly a plane? Are you about to do anything practical with this information? Or is it just so that you can tell next man? Now, if it is the case that you just want to tell next man and you just want that information, that's going to be abundant. It's been here for the last 10 years. That's what we talk about. That's why the show's kept its title. Because that is what we talk about. But I'm going to be talking about it with an air of disdain for those who want to convert the 9 out of 10 people who hate us. And they do hate us. But that's a testament to them. Them saying, in my specific example, not necessarily yours as an audience member, that they want to see me do badly, suffer pain. Like, okay, right back at you. I'd rather see you burn in hell than explain to you how flat Earth gets measured for your ball faith. Keep your ball faith. I don't care about you having a ball faith. Good for you. You want to lean into the crappy, cheap, state-funded education that you got because you invested in it after the fact. You bought yourself a telescope, learned how orbital motion works. You discovered retrograde, did you? Wow. Did you learn about bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry? Did you learn Einstein's field equations? Oh, bless. They all seemed so valuable till I came along. That won't change how Euclidean, how flat, how elevation angle measurements are acquired, how parallel and perpendicular to surface level these measurements are. None of that's going to change with me gone. But they still wish harm on me. Now, I don't wish harm on them. I say that if Eight King's correct and they don't find their way to God, well, then they'll be condemned to hell, won't they? Well, that's where they belong if they're suggesting that I should live in poverty with my 2 kids that I'm trying to feed. That's scummy. And they deserve everything that they'll have coming to them, won't they? Me, I do fear God. I do fear the consequences. I do want to put the information out there. I appreciate that those who've got eyes to see and ears to listen will absorb the information that I put out on a daily basis and rejoice in it and find their way to the God of the creation that they are blessed to inhabit, rather than being blessed and enjoying those moments, seeing that they should pour scorn on some guy on the internet. That's sad. You know, truly, truly sad. But there is a percentage of people out there that do think it's their obligation to educate that group of people. Those are who I'm bracing against. Now, for Mike 808, who's saying, well, you know, I've got people who are polite and friendly and do just find an intrigue in this subject. I just want to know more about it. Well, you'll still get the information. Don't worry about that, Mike. It's not like we're going to stop talking about how flat Earth gets measured in great detail now we've learnt about it. This is my subject matter expertise that I can disseminate on an internet show. And I will continue to do so. I'm just not going to be so grandiose as to believe that I actually have a consequence in it beyond communicating it on a social level. That's it. That's frivolous. The frivolity of detailing how flat Earth is being dealt with by more professionals than I is a social folly. One I enjoy greatly, but the social folly of explaining to somebody who's not about to go out and survey the land how it gets surveyed can garner next man on the internet 1 million subscribers. Me explaining it, not so much because it's censored. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to enjoy passing the information on to people like Mike 808 specifically, long-time subscriber, member of the channel, hungry for information, polite, kind, generous, good people like Mike. They're going to get as much information as they ask for. It doesn't mean that when I'm being told that without an actual practical application, somebody wants to learn more about the celestial navigation intricacies, not so they can go out and find new land, not so they can change your political structure, although those are the sentiments that are conveyed to us, but so that they can convert 1 in 10 people when the other 9 are scum. What an interesting turn of events. Started off with me putting up panels and has gone into a deep philosophical reflection on the situation within Flat Earth currently. Anything anybody wants to add? If not, I'm going to be rounding out shortly. No?
Just wanted to point out that it was a very pertinent question when you asked Eight King right on at the offset whether he fears God or not. So at that juncture only, after listening to his answer, that he does not really think that there is anything for which he should be fearing God. So I would like to read Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding.
Perfect. With that, though, I'm going to round out. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Hit me up on Patreon and PayPal and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show.
So doesn't Jesus say you were trying to remove a mote from your brother's eye when there is a wedge in your own eye? So himself not being saved or not even having a fear of the Lord and trying to save the rest of the world. That's ironic.
It's pull the plank out of your own eye before trying to pull the thorn out of your brother's.
That's correct, Nathan.
Oh, I have the exact quote from King James Version if you want me to read.
Yes, please.
Go for it.
So this is Matthew chapter 7, verses 3 to 5. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye.
Jesus was something else, wasn't he? He sniffed out hypocrites, liars, deceivers, called them whitewashed sepulchres.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't think my audience is fully picking up what I'm trying to put down at the moment, which is to say,
No.
if you want the world to change, it has to be considered to have not changed. You have to be in a position where you can say, I always knew this was the case anyway, for somebody to be able to accept it without having to swallow any pride in doing so. They can say, I already knew. It's no big deal. Well, there's no need for us to have a big fight about it. Everybody already knew. But if you're of the ilk that, no, I'm going to be the one that changes the world, it's like, what, open your eyes to God's creation? That's not exactly worshipping the fact that you're so blessed and privileged to be walking amongst this glorious creation. That's you saying that you want to be the arbiter of next man's worldview, when his worldview is only a perception of the world. That means that man who believes he's on a ball doesn't have eyes to see the world he's actually in. They want to live in a perception of a world that's ball-shaped and ignore all facts about it. It's like, let them. They are sinners. That's what they are. Now, if it wasn't obvious enough from them not acknowledging God's beautiful creation, they're sinners because they're telling you they want your balls cut off. Is it not obvious enough? Bloody hell.
To those who don't get it, yes, I can understand that this rhetoric may come across as really rude and condescending, but it's only because they don't get it.
As condescending as a sentiment could be. It's only because you don't get it. Bless your little cotton socks, you silly idiot.
Listen, I surf through the chats and I hear the conversations that people are having. And Aid King wants to change the world. He thinks this magical thing is going to happen where everybody's going to have free energy and everybody's going to be able to purchase land because they're hiding the land on said globe, when actually there's more land on the horizon. Now, we don't know that for sure. So you're basically being a dreamer. The best attitude to have is the nonchalant attitude. You know it, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't feel inclined to convert you. You know, keep your ball. It's good for you. You found a faith. Everyone's entitled to their belief. Good for you. Now, you're saying when I say those things to the audience at large that it's not good enough. Now, I know what you mean. For the person that's got a ball faith, me saying it is the crime. It's not about whether or not Earth's measured flat. It's whether or not I'm communicating that fact to a wider audience than the person that's trying to suppress that information. And that's all it comes down to. The people who say that's not good enough. No, you want to suppress this information, don't you? That's what you're saying in that statement. Not good enough. What's not good enough? It's not up to you. It doesn't matter if you find this good or not. What's good about a flat Earth measurement? It's just a measurement. Who cares? The fact that you do makes you kind of dweeby. The fact that you're prepared to, die on that hill, it's like sad. Die on some dweeby hill about measuring the surface level? Why?
Well, because they're saying the contrary, that you're not measuring Earth flat, that you're deceiving people. And people like Jiren and Ranty, they hold them in high esteem because they've realized their error, because they listened to the people telling them that it was a globe, and at least they turned and got out. Not like you, stubborn, just, grifting the community.
One has to appreciate the consistency in standards, because this very week, I suppose, we had an anti-flat earther, to which Nathan Oakley replied in the same way. Why do you want this information? Do you actually got a boat? And that is the exact same line of reasoning he took with 8 King today. So the standards are the same. Do you got a boat where we can go together and have fun? If
Exactly.
not, stop being a dweeb.
Yeah, and what they do is they try to pull you into these conversations. And it can happen. But if you just stick to your guns and be like, listen, good. Yeah, have your globe and have fun. And why do you want to keep bothering me? Does it matter that Neil Cosentino is now on a flat earth? How does that affect you? Why are you calling my house when I'm with my family? And then I'll tell you how dumb. They say we're dumb, right? And that's what they do constantly, try to make a flat earther look dumb. You got to be a dumb person to think that I actually accidentally hung up on you. You have to be a real dummy.
Well, in that respect also, I think we have come up full circle. When we are trying to psychoanalyze the anti-flat earthers and globers, why would they have a belief in this make-believe globe? When it all started, and the globe earthers were the ones who did not really care about the arguments or the points which flat earthers were presenting, and rather took a psychoanalysis approach that why would anyone even think that the earth is flat? It must be because they were left out in their family and they want to feel special and all that, you know. So it has come a whole circle there as well, where we
Whole
are
circle, baby.
psychoanalyzing.
Pure projection.
Whole
Now
circle.
it's us
Yeah.
analyzing them.
That was pure projection. So those people who are saying that, oh, you just want to feel special. You're like, no, what you're doing is projecting your concerns that the information that you've acquired about Earth being spherical is no longer special. So it's pure projection.
Yep, 100%. And it's demonstrated till this very day with the harassment. Constantly, the same people come in this chat every day with stupid names, derogatory names, of course, and with the same nonsense over and over again. Like, don't you get it? We don't like you. We don't want to hang out with you. We don't care what you have to say. Very simple to me. If somebody said that to me, I'd be gone. One time. That's all you got to tell me.
And the cherry on top is forget about being special. I am bloody inconsequential. I don't even matter. That's where we
Yeah,
are.
if that's not taking the high road, I don't know what is. We're telling you, we recognize that we're inconsequential to this whole matter. And you still want to come in and argue with us? You still want to fight? You still want to spread rumors? Because that's what they are. People just spread rumors. I mean, this is what it takes for you to keep people in your ball belief system, that you have to shit on other people. Ford has to shit on Chevy to stay relevant. Very weird.
Like that Ford and Chevy comparison I made on the fly the other day then.
Yeah, because it's basic, it's simple, but we get the point. It's true. Now, they may have campaigns of how their vehicle is better and use them, you know, but really you're selling your product. Most of the car ads I see, they're showing you their product, you know?
Maybe we should, like 10th Man used to suggest, lean into some of the sales training. When it comes to a competitor, you're supposed to compliment the competitor and then emphasize your unique selling points that your competitor does not have. So, you know, the ball's wonderful. I mean, it's a really great way of describing epicycles, working outside of the box. I mean, it's to be commended. You know, it just doesn't have the prerequisite flat Earth measurement process that we use when measuring Earth to its name, like we have when we describe how we measure Earth flat, because Earth's measured flat. That's the unique thing about being a flat earther. We have the actual measurements of Earth to lean into. Now, I like a ball. Balls are wonderful. They just don't have the flat Earth measurements that are needed. That's a shame, you know, because otherwise the ball would be brilliant. If it had ball measurements, it just doesn't. It has flat Earth measurements too. So, I mean, we're both going to the same supplier. We're just selling different products. We both sourced our materials from a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement system, but, you know, they just didn't like it when they moulded it into something new. We just like ours raw. You know, that's like most ingredients. They're best when they're served in the most simplistic manner. Raw, almost. Well, our raw flat Earth measurements are just that. They don't need refining or converting. They don't need a Haversine conversion sauce put on top. No need. They just work really well, like a good steak. Just cook it and eat it. Just measure it flat and then get on with your day. It's just easy. Now, I get how fancy pants it can be to take a tangential plane from a presupposed spherical Earth that you're not measuring and transpose that tangential plane inside a ball to suggest that the equatorial plane is the plane that you measured in the first place. But I just don't think the steak needs that A1 sauce, I've got to be honest.
I don't know if I could do that, Nathan. I don't know if I could leave and say, oh, you are so correct. Because they're not. And I really don't care either. That's why. I mean, let's say a year ago, maybe even 5 months ago, Nathan, that if I freaking heard that somebody freaking called me from their show, I would have been flipping out like a maniac. Now I don't care. Oh, you want me, huh? You desire me. Oh, how sweet. You love me. Oh, that's nice. Sorry, I'm married.
Yeah, these people aren't worth our time. And I think as time progresses, they're starting to realise that. Now, I can't have it both ways. I can't say that the fart-sniffing dweebs on the globe are worth our time. But the flat earthers with their delusional interests in changing the world that they're not going to do, definitely. You're like, no, I can't do it. Especially when I'm having the introspection to say I'm not worth this information. It's not mine. I haven't come up with it. I haven't developed it. I'm not measuring it. I'm not putting it to practical use. I can't then turn around and say, but you might, with your boat that you haven't got. I can't do that. I'd be lying to myself.
Stay tuned for the book. All your questions will be answered.
Speaking of which, I'm going to ask my wife if we're going to do any work on it. We're going to do any work on the book, hun? Clover's got gymnastics when? 5:30. Do you want to do an hour on it or not? Okay. Yeah, we're going to do an hour. We're going to read through a couple more chapters.
That's just you guys, though, right?
I don't mind if you guys want to enjoy some of it. I'm set up so I can just leave you guys in the hangout and we can do it with you guys here. I don't mind. You want to do that? I'll take that as a yes.
I didn't hear that.
I'll take it that you want to sit in on the process.
You don't need us to sit in. You just got to read through it.
Yeah, basically.
It's their business.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll round out this rather short show. Dead air that there was quite a lot of at the beginning. Right, let's do that now. So, where's my lights? A huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ Panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.